Hi, my name is Del Warren, the Vice President of the Kegel Training Center and the head coach for the Web International men's team. And I have one of my students here, Justin Dunn from Dunn, Florida. And you've been bowling for our team for how many years?
3 years.
Okay. And we're going to be testing a new product called the Pivot Point and comparing it to one of our favorite here on the Web International men's team, the Pivot. And we're going to be checking it out and seeing how they roll. Well, Justin's come a long way in the last year, and predominantly we've been really working on him lowering his axis of rotation and keeping his rev rate up. He's about 425 off his hand, 19 miles an hour, and it really starts with his setup. And now he's got to focus on really maintaining the weight in his hand a little more towards his ring finger while making sure that the base of his hand and his forearm are in a line. So because he's really still focusing on controlling that setup and getting the weight in under the ring finger and really making sure that there's no wrist cock throughout the swing is real key for him. And it's still an ongoing project with Justin, and he's done a great job in the last 12 months of really lowering his axis rotation and seeing the benefits of really having a high rev rate, but really focusing on rolling it. And I think I would say a year ago he averaged about 70 degrees of axis rotation, and at times it would go to 80 and his tilt would go up to 20. So we've got that much more under control. He's a much more versatile player, but you can see how he looks down at his hand and feels where that weight is. And that's a much better shot. And you can see that had a nice reaction on the back end. It was strong, but yet controllable through the pins. Okay. So now we've seen the pivot. We're very familiar with the ball, as you know. You bowled very well with that ball this year. We're familiar with it on the fresh, and now lanes start to change. They start to break down. Oil starts to get depleted. We're changing angles, and we really need a ball that's going to complement that. We really think the pivot point is what's going to allow us to move in and retain some energy and make the corner and knock some more pins down. So let's go check it out. So spread your pinky finger out, like the pinky finger, like that. So again, he's got the pivot point in his hand, and he's moved in a little bit. He's still going to make sure that he hits it really well, and about 35 degrees of axis rotation. Great shot. And again, even though he's in, remember Justin's at 425 and 19 miles an hour, so again, he doesn't, even though he's going inside out, he still doesn't need a tremendous amount of axis rotation. And because the pivot point is such a strong ball, again, he wants to still make sure he's got control of that break point. A great shot. You can see the ball split the 8-9. Justin's smiling, which means he's got great ball reaction and he loves the characteristic of this ball. And I know what he's thinking. He goes, can I drill one for the next tournament, Coach? Justin, you threw a lot of strike with both balls, and they both have different motion, and they both have a different purpose. How do you see them being different?
Well, what I see with the pivot is it's a little bit stronger in the mid-lane, rolls out a little bit earlier. As the lanes start to burn up, I can move in with the pivot point, and it'll give me a little bit more length and a little bit stronger motion on the back.
Well, I loved watching you bowl, and I loved how many strikes you were throwing, and I love the fact that both balls were different and they were both effective. So check these out in your pro shop, and don't forget, bowl it forward.
Hi, my name is Randy Stoughton. I'm the head coach at the Kegel Training Center in Lake Wales, Florida. I'm also the head coach at the Weber International University's women's bowling team, 3-time national champions. I'd like to introduce you now to my favorite student, Diana Zavyalova from Latvia.
Yeah, I came to the United States in 2010 to bowl for Weber International University, and I heard it in Europe about Kegel and everything from Sid Allen and Ruben Kiragoshi. And I am a 2013 USBC Queens champion, and I did it all with my favorite ball, Cyclone.
That's fantastic, Diana. And today we are all here to compare the new pivot point versus the pivot. Let's get to it. All right, give me a nice crisp shot here. That'll go. That'll go. Nice shot. Beauty. Okay, so we've thrown the pivot down the lane a few times and we've got a look. My take on this ball is it's reading just a little bit early for you, and it's struggling with getting the ball to the break point, and it's causing you to make some perfect shots of your mentality right now. And we put the pivot point in our hand, we'll get that cleaner front end and get that nice clean response on the back end as well. And I think we'll have more room for the pocket. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree, Coach. Let's do this.
That looks better. That had a nice entry to it. And in the pit, straight back. Diana's got great rhythm. Absolutely beautiful rhythm. Really straight swing. With a little bent elbow at the bottom. It just pops it into the floor to get it a rev with. Okay, Diana, so we've thrown the balls down the lane. Why don't you compare the two balls for us?
You know, both bowling balls were great, and I think because pivot has more surface on, it wants to read the lane a little bit sooner than the pivot point, and that was different. 2-1 boards left with the pivot.
I agree. The pivot point was definitely cleaner through the front end, and definitely be able to be used in a lower volume oil environment. But the pivot will also be used with a higher volume environment. So both balls will be in our bag, that's for sure.